Sup shitters, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SB Reviews, where today we have ourselves the pleasure of reviewing a track from an act named SirenBlue, titled Every Other Weekend. And if we switch over to here, we have the music video for it. Nice light to dislike ratio here. Oh, good amount of attention as well. From the album Same But Different by SirenBlue. Fantastic. We are going to listen through this track from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. And we've got the music video here. And just before you get into it, just a disclaimer that I don't typically talk too much about the videos in these reviews, as I'm not as knowledgeable about how the videos are made. I personally prefer to talk about the audio. So we're going to get started and hear what we think. Okay, we got a nice little drum fill coming in there with the snares. And some distorted guitars or unison bends. And just a really slick, solid bass line there as the undercurrent. I'm liking that guitar riff there, how you have those natural harmonics in there. It's really pretty. It's a nice sort of short riff that loops well and keeps it entertaining, and it never gets old. Nice vocal harmonies there as well. Okay, bridge or chorus. No place to hide from what I feel. Okay, nice 4-chord progression as well here. There's a lot of color in the harmony with the multiple layers there. There's not a whole lot of instrumentation to the point where it becomes overwhelming, but at the same time, you can tell they've carefully considered keeping the frequency spectrum nice and balanced. Nice little chromatic shifts there as well with the harmony. And yeah, the singer got pipes, man, for days. I'm liking the vocal harmonies and how they add a little bit of size to her sort of performance within the mix. How to make it really stand out in the center of the stereo field. And we're fairly confident with these few different sort of musical sections, which is good, repeating them. So much I need to say to you, never find the way. Interesting. I'm liking how we hang on this line a little bit just so that we don't repeat the rhythm too much. We had instantiated in the previous half of the verse. So, like, is this person dependent on them for stability and, like, to feel sort of, like, you know, safe and secure? Is there an ability to really be okay by themselves? They have their own thoughts that kind of trouble them a little bit if they don't have that output? Reliving my mistakes and might have beens. Yeah. So, like, you're left to confront the issues that you've had and the concerns, and sounds a little bit tough and a little bit stressful. Not very pleasant, to be honest. Oh, nice little guitar solo here. This kind of indie pop rock here. I kind of miss it. It's nice and fresh though. I dig it. It sounds very misty. It matches the way that the video looks. I think very stylistically, it's very coherent and it makes a lot of sense. And that guitar solo was very succinct, you know. It had its own identity in there, and it was a nice change from the vocals and the rest of the sort of rhythmic instruments. And yeah, it filled in quite nicely. It wasn't super duper flashy, but I think if you'd gotten any more technical, that it might have started to look like a little bit of an ego project. to hear those toms getting involved there. This hook line being repeated. It's interesting how that kind of arpeggio cascades in the background there. Whilst the whilst the vocals repeating the hook line, it's almost like it does just sound like it's just over and over and over again. The vocals have been mixed and recorded well. There is dynamic range to the performance without it seeming to breathe. It's a very professional sounding sort of post-production here, and I'm quite enjoying it. I've got no particular issues with anything in this track. I like some of these colorations within this harmony of the chorus, especially. I think it's really pretty. It sort of symbolizes a complexity to the situation that the protagonist of the story, it's obviously not a simple kind of position to be in. Sounds horrible, to be honest. Having regrets and trying to figure out where things went wrong and dealing with your own inadequacies is a brutal thing to have to contend with, As we get older, there's more and more of them, and if you don't, take care of yourself, it's going to just really screw you up. Conceptually, I think the song works very well. It does sound like the title. It sounds like the lyrics, It doesn't sound like it's particularly resolved itself. It sounds unfinished and sort of tense. Like there's confusion illustrated with the reverb and the other sort of effects there. It's a very eerie kind of performance, but at the same time, there was an undercurrent of frustration and sadness there that I think, and especially the color grading of this video, actually, the blues, the coolness of it, It makes me feel very bad for the people involved. But I've got a lot of love for what SirenBlue have managed to do here. SirenBlue have been going for quite a while, I think. If I'm not mistaken, they've been going since the 2000s, right? And they've started getting back after they remastered their second album, I think. I can't quite remember the name of it. Yeah, Death of Dreams, as I understand it, was the second one. Hang on a minute. Just needed to make myself a bit bigger on the screen so that I could do the conclusion. Where's a good place? Oh, there we go. Every Other Weekend. Yeah, what else do I want to say about this track that I haven't already? I mean, I think we can appreciate musically that it was sound, excuse the pun. I enjoyed the performance of the individual instrumentalists. There weren't any wrong notes. It sounds like it was recorded in one whole, take, which, given the amount of flexibility we have in regards to how we record things nowadays, is not to be understated. I think it's fantastic. There's an obvious chemistry between the members of the band there. It sounds like everybody wanted to be there and everyone just wanted to play the best music they could in a way that was, collectively as a collaboration, quite authentic and quite true to form. And I think when you're recording an album and when you're trying to make your way into it, recording an album these days is incredibly difficult. And it can even be very difficult to justify doing it full stop. But I think that SirenBlue have got all the reasons to do it. They're clearly experienced musicians. I assume they would probably sound as good live as they are in their recordings. There's not a whole lot here that I could imagine would not be able to be recommended in a live situation. So once the world opens up a bit more, I'm sure that SirenBlue will be able to get out and do some gigs. It'll be pretty sweet. I'm trying to sort of figure out what else I want to say about this track because I don't want to miss anything. The story was fascinating. The story was vague enough. The lyrics were vague enough that you could kind of understand what's going on, but it wasn't spoon feeding you. It wasn't babying you. It was meant to sort of lure you into its environment and sort of get you to try and be patient with it. And I think that, at 3.5 minutes, this track is completely adequate as a single. I've got nothing but respect for the fact that they gave heed to the listener's time. And it's great as well. And having a little guitar solo in there was nice. It was nice little touches. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm predominantly a guitarist, but I like having the different voicings in songs. It's a shame when you just have the vocals as the main melody. You know what I mean? And it was nice to hear the drums leading the charge in the early stages of all. Drums. If you can play drums well, it makes the band. Effectively, though, that is my review of SirenBlue's Every Other Weekend. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show SirenBlue some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page. And stay cool, stay safe, and please also remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. Catch you next review. Spider hands out.